I gotta tell Josh that he's gonna have to come in and chat with us and explain himself now.
Yeah.
At least one. Our graphic designer submitted one. He told me that he had submitted one.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his email address?
He's Ithri, I think.
Spell that?
Ithry. He may have sent it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
He did?
there it
Okay.
is.
Is it like Ithri at level99games.com? Did he send it from?
No, Paliardthefallen at hotmail.com.
Okay, must be a mule.
This one is it's sent in by Joshua Van Lanningham, but
That's the guy, yeah.
yeah,
He's the guy who does the graphic design for the BattleCON cards.
really okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, hold on.
All right. So let's see. We might even have join chat with us.
Copy, add people, paste, invite. Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and publish this, and then we should have guests momentarily.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of invites. Hey, is William Lee the guy who does the battle guides?
That's Marco.
Oh, okay.
Marco.
I was gonna say,
did he send one?
If that was the guy, that'd be crazy. But no, this William Lee dude did.
Okay.
Just imagine one from him, where like instead of the fanfic, it's like every couple of sentences he posts a new like factoid that takes up like a paragraph about one mechanic. I love his video, but that would get messy.
Indeed.
I also think someone from by the way, you remember when I told you that you should get a Something Awful account?
Yeah.
They're gaga for BattleCon.
I actually met the guy that was it like that does the moderation for that forum.
Oh, dude, you met Winston? It's not Winston. Be careful. He gets very upset about it.
No, I think I met somebody else. I think it was his name was. Oh, I've forgotten it. I have it in my email. I think it was Daniel.
Okay.
But who moderates a couple of the games on the forum there.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he does the PMP ones.
Yeah.
Or the play-by-post.
Yeah.
Something Awful went down like 2 days ago, shortly before I was able to do my first play-by-post for BattleCon.
Oh.
like, yeah, I'll do it. And just totally blew up.
All right, so that's going live now.
Okay. Contest. It's weird. I could have sworn there was more because I have them in my drive.
How many do we have?
Yeah, we have 4, but I only had 3 for some reason. That's weird.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I can do. Hold on. I had them send it to ninjaHELL your pants.
Whose idea for a ridiculous email was that?
All right, so when I first did the event at IckyCon, I was trying to come up with a tagline to advertise it, and the only one I could come up with was "It's like a ninja in your pants." So there you go, ninjaHELL in your pants.
I see.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I figured it was because it was a podcast and you keep the iPod in your pants pocket, and so it was ninjaHELL in your pants. You know. But
that works too. Sure, that sounds professional.
That sounds like a far more reasonable idea.
All right.
Like, if that's the story I'm gonna tell anyone, that's the story I'm telling people from now on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still gonna tell mine because screw you. I do what I want.
Well.
As you wish. As you wish.
As you wish.
Well, cool. All right, so we made the post, so we should be all set to hang out and chat. We're right on the edge of the 180K stretch goal, so
yeah.
I actually haven't prepared the little banner for the 190 yet. So
by the way,
should do that
you are welcome. Did you see the BattleCon tag on Twitter?
No. How is it?
There is a bunch of them from me. I spent the past 2 days doing nothing but tweeting reasons BattleCon is better than blank. Like, you posted about how there was like 100 shares or something on Twitter alone. I'm like, yeah, that was 90% of that was me. It got ridiculous. I somehow like got a follower who likes Call of Duty because I made fun of Call of Duty and Halo and oh, you name it. We ripped into pretty much everybody. not mean, but we made fun of stuff.
Huh. Well, I'm just reading all these tweets right now.
You're welcome. I want Team Barkeep to happen.
Team Barkeep.
No Tarmogoy.
Yeah,
About that admin are approaching you about advertising for BattleCON.
Yes, they did. They did.
Asked you if you wanted to buy ads for BattleCON.
Because I kept on tweeting about it, so they thought I was the project dude.
Wow. They haven't even approached me about it.
The best part is
mildly
they didn't
hilarious,
respond to my tweet about how they were wrong. They just dropped it like they're spam. I know they're not, because the dude, like, he actually thought it out and typed it out, and then I guess he got embarrassed or something.
Well, I mean, I wonder if that's really a thing where, like, you know, a Kickstarter gets popular and then, like, backers start advertising, like, actually buying advertising for it because they want to hit all the stretch goals and stuff.
Who knows? That very well could be a thing. Sorry for this being wobbly. My computer's heating up a bit, so I'm gonna try and.
I'm not really watching the video at this point, I think.
Yeah, that works. I kind of am. I should admit that. I am a fanboy. So one of our hosts couldn't be here. He had other commitments come up, but he's a really big BattleCon fan. So he's super excited. He really likes Ryukuk.
Oh yeah, you know, Ryukuk has a lot of fans. People, you know, that style of Ranger gameplay is pretty fun as well. So I can see that.
I don't know. I can't help it. I just really like Voco.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do some tuning patches for Devastation in the, you know, probably around the end of the year, and then we'll have some balance between all these.
How do you work patches like that? Do you just sell like a patch kit, or?
We usually just give it away with our next product. So, like, if we were gonna do, say, a game in a BattleCon, the next BattleCon game, whatever it is, like Wanderers in December, we would say, you know, also with Wanderers you get a free patch for, you know, for War and Devastation, and then it'll patch your game back up to, you know, the new, whatever the new standard is. So, and that's sort of the way that we've been handling it. But yeah, we don't want to charge for that kind of thing because, you know, it's a patch. So
makes sense to me.
Yeah, I remember, I can't remember what game it was, but I had gotten into it and they were like, "Hey, new patches just came up," and I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna go download them." It was like $1 a patch. I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah, that's awful. That's rude. That's pretty rude.
They do that with they did that with, I think it was Puzzle Strike, where you could like buy the upgrade kit, but it came with playmats.
Yeah, the upgrade kit for Puzzle Strike came with some decent stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a pure patch and that's it kind of thing. You got those little player boards and stuff like that. Yeah. But nowadays, if you buy, I want to say if you buy the game now, it comes with a lot of stuff in the box too. So.
Yeah, they did a reedition.
Yeah, the other one, Yomi's on right now on Kickstarter as well.
Yeah, I heard. I'm not as big a fan of Yomi. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the fact that it's playing cards.
Maybe, you know,
But that's a personal thing. That's not something to say that it's not a good game. It's just, I don't know, it didn't appeal to me.
Yeah, there's a dangerous temptation to put your game on playing cards because printing companies print in playing card decks. Like what's cheap for a printer is going to be one deck of playing cards, and so when you're printing a run of 54 cards, there's a dangerous temptation to just put put playing card suits and numbers up in the corner and let it be. And I see a lot of games do it, and I feel like it hurts more than it helps. But yeah. But
all right, so we've hit 18 viewers. I think it's time to actually go ahead and start the stream episode proper because we've been doing some
Okay.
chit chatting, but we do have some housekeeping we have to do. I have a topic. Typically, on the podcast nowadays, everyone brings a topic or a rant or an activity that they can force everybody else to do. For you, your topic is your game and the fan fiction contest. But I have this thing that I really want to talk to you about that I want to get some feedback from you on because it kind of is about the way the gaming culture is perceived in today's world.
Okay. Okay.
So let me go ahead and get.
Which I find mildly hilarious because you chose that, and then I chose an example of a really kind of what I consider a very beautiful and elegant gaming community that probably goes against the perceptions most people have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and board gaming and video gaming too are extremely different communities with extremely different perceptions. So that can color other things too. It's hard to lump gamers into a group, and even card gaming like Magic the Gathering has a different perception.
True. I am actually talking about the traditional gaming community. Aside from
Are you guys okay? No? Okay. Sorry, we're still at work here in the office, and so they came by my office, and we're just looking in the window, staring at me. Sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, so I'm gonna go away from the camera for a second. I just want to read this to you. So this was linked on Something Awful. Ironically enough, is how I found out about this. The link was to an article on stpetersblog.com. And the title is The Bizarre Double Life of Conservative Congressional Hopeful Jake Rush.
Okay. Seems rather obscure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read it, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
I think that works. So running for the U.S. Congress can be the role of the lifetime for a budding politician, which would seem on the surface to fit right in with conservative Republican candidate Jacob A. Rush. Rush, who's a 35-year-old attorney who just launched a campaign in Florida's 3rd Congressional District, knows a thing or two about role-playing. The former county sheriff's deputy announced on March 20th that he would join the GOP primary race against incumbent Representative Ted Yoho, the first-term Tea Party favorite from Gainesville. It goes on to describe how he made a well-produced professional video portraying himself as the ultimate conservative straight shooter, ready to fight for we the people. And it has all the stereotypical stuff. But this is the meat of the article. This is the turning point. This is like when you're watching a movie and you're like, all right, so things are normal, and then a thing happens and you go, oh man, we're into the plot now. What the slick video does not mention is that Rush, as Chaz with 2 Z's, Darling, Das with 2 A's, Van der Vinst, and a host of other roles, was a longtime member of the Mind's Eye Society, otherwise known as Camarilla.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a vampire LARPer.
Okay.
I want to vote for him. I want.
Yeah, that could make me vote red.
Yeah, that's motivating. Like that encourages me to vote for this guy. Here's the thing, though. This article proceeds to say that it's a bad thing, that it's a reason why you should not vote for this candidate, suggesting that he is immature in some way. It also mentions a few other things which actually are problematic, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
But specifically the role-playing is the LARPing is the thing we want to focus on.
The LARPing is the thing that they focus on as being negative. They then mention at the very bottom, here it is. There's a paragraph that mentions one particular thing that I think is actually something that would make me not want to vote for him. But they really focus more on the role play.
What's the name of this guy again?
The guy's name is Jake Rush.
Jake Rush, huh?
I just have to say it's kind of funny. I love articles like this where it's like, here's this massively perceived problem, but then there's like a little one tied to it, which is always worse. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he eats like 4 hamburgers a day and also kills babies. But seriously, the hamburgers, guys.
So
I like how the guy next to him in his vampire clothing with the black
yeah,
contacts.
yeah. So you're on the same article as me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's
So I am going to go ahead and say the one thing that's the problem is that he apparently has a video that was deleted, but someone found. Or no, it's a deleted photo that someone uploaded and found that was titled "Put on my rape face," which I'm sorry, that's just stupid. But
yeah. Well, the
that is like
I
the
mean,
one.
they do some weird stuff in online. I mean, I've known a few. All the Mind's Eye Society members that I've known, which is a small sample, have been cool, ordinary people. But
Yeah.
I've heard that that some things are not always above board. So
Well,
what can I say except that my experience with these people has always been positive. So I think it's it's another role playing group, and there's going to be people that are that take it too seriously, and people that are there to have fun.
but let's not rush necessarily into something crazy. Let me just go ahead and say, my question is not should people vote for Rush? Yay, Rush. Uh, but the question is, has society moved past this idea that Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games are evil, or are we still stuck in some weird satanic panic state
I
where
think that for the
you
most
can't
part,
live
yeah.
an ordinary life if you admit to being a gamer?
You know, I think that it's mainstream enough that you can do most things, but perhaps politics, it's just such a polarized thing. At least on the Republican side, I think if you were a Democrat, you would be like whatever, sure. If you're on the liberal side of things, nobody would care. But on the Republican side of things are very polarized towards religion, and you can start a satanic panic, on a pin drop if you want. Then it's anyway, and I don't mean to be party lines, but I was raised very very strict. What do I want to say? Like strict conservative fundamentalist Christian, and we were kind of
Okay.
always in that state back at Christian school.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's because like eating too much chocolate was apparently of the devil.
yeah,
I mean, it's just like,
and
yeah.
Also,
I'm,
remember, if
yeah.
you read Harry Potter, it will teach you how to be a Satanist.
Yes.
Well,
Actually, that happened in my middle school. That was
yeah. I
my,
mean, that's. I immediately
That
began
was my mom and
like
dad.
summoning demon goat gods when I got done with the series. So.
it took you the whole series. I was doing it in like book 3.
Well, I'm a slow learner.
You gotta
Okay?
pick up on the. You gotta read backwards.
Oh, that's my problem.
It's so
No.
easy. Come on, guys.
I was reading them in like Russian and not backwards. So.
No, the issue is that Brad, you were not reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That was Harry Potter and the Mystical Gate to Azeroth.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Cthulhu Fhtagn and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Speaking of Azeroth, I've been playing the Hearthstone TCG lately. Have you
How
guys
is
tried that
that?
out yet? It's
I've
pretty
heard of
cool. It's quite good. I mean, it's not like high strategic entertainment. In the same way that what's the word? I'd say like Magic or some of the other more finely tuned CCGs. Like your win rate's kind of directly related to how well you play and how well you play your deck. Or not like whether you win each individual game is directly related. Hearthstone's not really like that. It's more like you're going to play hundreds of games, and if your deck is better, then you'll statistically win more games than not. But you're not guaranteed any given game because the top deck is so powerful in that game.
So
Yeah.
we're talking like Yu-Gi-Oh before they patched the rules for XYZ summons. Nowadays, for those who don't know, it used to be in order to summon the really cool monsters, you had to have 2 monsters you could fuse together and a card called polymerization. And there was a couple of cases where you didn't need like 1 or 2 pieces, but for the most part, it was you must have 3 cards, or you may not have this extra cool thing. Nowadays, they tweak the rules to try and fix that a bit by having these monsters you summon by tributing monsters that fit a certain requirement that are any of them, as long as they are particular qualifiers like a certain level or a certain element.
Right. Yeah, fuses with plants or something like that.
Yeah, it's now you want to summon a level 5 XYZ monster, put underneath it 2 monsters on the field who are both level 5. You just any of them.
Yeah.
Which makes it like,
yeah, so I'd say Hearthstone's not. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is a pretty volatile game, and I'd say Hearthstone's about on that level, in that that a good hand is going to win or lose the game, but as your deck gets better, you'll find that you win more matches. So you have to play kind of the long game in that sense. And you play a few matches, you go and you reach in your deck, and you feel like you're getting a better win percentage with the new changes, and you refine. It's that sort of a play.
okay.
Which I mean personally I like a little better because it means you can't really just sit there and go, hey, I'm gonna drop like $600, have top deck, and just be the best forever, and then sell off my top deck right before it gets old, and then buy the next one.
Yeah, even having a deck full of legendaries is not going to get you very far. In fact, some of the legendaries are even worse than comparable commons. They're just novelties with cool phrases and stuff.
Well, if we're talking about other games we've been playing besides BattleCon, I've been getting into Cardfight Vanguard.
Okay.
Which it surprised me. It reminds me a lot of Battle Spirits, which I used to actually judge.
Cheer.
Like we got a player group here.
Well, aren't all the Bushiroad games like Weiss Schwartz, Cardfight, and Buddy Fight? They're all the same game, right? With different skins.
No, actually, they're quite different. They have.
Oh, okay.
Weiss Schwartz and Cardfight Vanguard have one aspect in common, which is they have grades of cards, and you increase them as you play.
Okay.
But that's really it. With Cardfight Vanguard, you basically have a quarter of your deck is set up as what's called drive check cards, or trigger cards. And so when you attack with the card that represents you on the field,
which is the Vanguard card.
Yeah. You get to do what's called a drive check, and you reveal either the top 1 or the top 2 cards of your deck, and if they have a special symbol on them, you get a power boost, and you can draw, or you deal 1 extra damage to a player, or
you heal damage.
Stand another person up, or you heal damage.
Okay, so kind of like the control checks in UFS.
Yes,
except a little bit, yeah.
Except they have specific effects. Yeah.
Yes. The other thing is, if you take damage, you always do a drive check. And so you can do a drive check that ends up healing you.
Okay.
You can do a drive check, and then your unit, the unit that's your Vanguard, can become more powerful, so it's harder to take more damage.
So it sounds very much similar in that it's a game where you tune your deck for statistical advantage, and not necessarily for an every game kind of advantage.
Well,
yeah, like there are certain what's called like clans or groups, and what it is like those cards will always work better with each other. Like for example, there's the I like to call them just there's the giant space mecha robot clan.
That's Dimension Police.
Yeah, which is Dimension Police, and those Dimension Police cards will always work better with each other. But in theory, you could still put together a deck that was made out of different cards and have a decent outcome.
The focus of the game is much more on being mono deck based, where it's like one type, which is nice because when it comes to getting set up in Vanguard, it's actually a lot cheaper than other games. You buy one set. Why? Because it has your clan.
Yeah.
And all those cards you can use.
Well, for me, my personal one is Netrunner right now. Have you guys played Netrunner?
Oh, that's so good, but it's so expensive.
It's so good. It's not that expensive. Once you're caught up, it's $15 a month, which is comparably quite cheap.
And that's
I hate to railroad us, but we did kind of go a little off topic here.
Yeah, we've got comments. We should probably answer some of the comments.
Yeah.
Questions that people have asked.
How about all right? So
So if you
Kendall,
go to the YouTube channel, yeah, you can just click that. Like
Yeah.
more recent comments will pop up every time someone leaves a comment,
Oh, cool.
and then you
I'm gonna-
just arrange them to newest first, and then you'll start to see all the newer comments at the top.
actually, if you're in the Hangout toolbox, there's a comment tracker.
Oh, there is for the
Yeah.
YouTube comments as well.
It's
Oh, let's
if you
see.
look at the Hangout toolbox, you'll see the face in the circle, volume, some weird smile thing, and then a voice box. Voice box is comment tracker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
How
it'll
does that
add
work?
all
Oh,
the
add
YouTube ones.
sources, and then I just
Boom.
copy the link here, and then add and. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's super neat.
So
Can you post that
let's-
link really quick?
Sure. I'll post it in our
Yeah.
chat.
let me go ahead and say, the majority of them seem like they're asking what sort of changes are going to be.
In
And-
Devastation?
No,
Alright.
for the patch that you were talking about.
Yeah. So we found some balance deficiencies in Devastation, and those have been talked about pretty extensively on Board Game Geek. I'm not going to jump the gun on it and release anything too soon. I want to wait till BattleCon Online is live and get a lot of logged matches, like thousands of matches that are logged, so that we can examine those and see what the real win rates and real use statistics for each of the different cards are, and then we can tune specifically which which things we want to change. So, because I think if we were gonna issue fixes right now, we'd nerf some Eric stuff and we'd nerf some Caitlyn stuff and we'd nerf some Octavia stuff, and then that would be it. And but there might be other things. Yeah, like we might want to buff Marmalade a little bit, and that's like it. But really, there's probably a lot of little changes here and there. Like
Especially with the new characters in Extended, you have to test against them.
yeah, we
Then
would
you
well
gotta
able to do some testing against that, and we might need to round them out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm told that I'm told that Marmalade is pretty weak. I think I've also heard that that Gaspar has a pretty low win rate, and Voko has a pretty low win rate.
Yeah,
So-
I also have to tell you, I've never seen a good match with Pendros. Whether
Pendros,
I'm playing
really?
it or I'm playing against someone, yeah, nobody's able to pick it up.
Really, I do pretty well with Pendros, but see, that's the kind of thing that like
Yeah.
you don't know if it's just your circle meta or if it's like the whole game meta. And I think BattleCon Online will tell us a bigger story.
And maybe it would be different if I think it's namely the delay and
Mhm.
trying to work with that.
Yeah, it takes a little more forethought than your typical brawler does to make Pendros work.
I've heard a lot of people say that maybe him in Flight 2 instead of Flight 1 would have worked a little better.
Probably so. I don't know who we would have brought down though.
Rexan.
Is really the yeah.
Rexan, I
Rexan.
just like he clicks so easy. But
Okay.
Pendros, you gotta kind of like have an understanding of how the board works a little more.
Yeah. I guess I didn't want two counterattackers in Flight 1. Was the main
That's
thing.
the
Eligor and Rexan
That's
together
the-
would be like they just stare at each other until one of them swung first, and that would kind of be their fight.
So like combat in Exalted Second Edition.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Sorry. Getting back to BattleCon.
I haven't played Exalted, although I would like to. But
It's a fun game. Second edition had a lot of mechanical and other issues, but I'm excited for third. Mhm.
Well, cool. So
So, Kendall, you had another gaming topic.
Well, there was one other thing I wanted to say about your little gamer and how that's perceived topic. I think there's also a current viewpoint that people who hold certain positions, whether it's of authority or of status, basically like should not succumb to the fantasies of the plebes down on the lower levels. If we heard tomorrow that like someone like Donald Trump played D&D, there'd be a hubbub no matter who you were. Someone would have a problem with that.
yeah, sure.
And I think that there's always going to be somebody who's going to have a problem with anyone having fun. But I think at the same time, there's also this kind of weird social dynamic that we kind of just think we think a little too highly of certain people and don't think that they should be doing the things we're doing.
I guess.
Just
You know, I think that some people are just going to have to, have to step out of the closet first, and that'll change. That'll pave the way. So
the gaming
I
closet.
mean, yeah, I phrase it like that intentionally because that's sort of how it happened for for LGBT too. Is that a few actors or actresses said hey, this is us, and then it became rapidly more acceptable once people who were who were already generally accepted in culture did it. And I think that's kind of how gaming is going to be too. Once we have a few more Will Wheatons out there, gaming is going to become a lot more mainstream.
Now, something I think is interesting,
which I'll be happy
to
see.
Something I think is interesting to point out: every time a president goes on a vacation, they always get some sort of flack from another party, and I think that might actually hold back politicians and leaders in gaming, because it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, somebody always has a problem with the president taking time to be with their family, or taking time to just go on vacation, as if that's like, how dare you spend any time not doing your job.
Yeah, no,
I don't have a problem with vacations. I have a problem with like $4 million vacations.
So
well,
if I can't go on that vacation, I don't think the president should. I want to go on that vacation.
Anyway, I think we had a few more comments.
Yeah,
they
kind of popped out.
I think my favorite. My favorite is actually from Ephraim Kurth, who wants to know where your hat is.
My hat. I left my hat at home today, and I regret it now. I didn't even think about it.
You are one of the people I've seen brave enough to be able to wear a fedora in today's world. I could not keep it up. I had to stop.
I wouldn't like go buy one, but my dad gave it to me, and I started wearing it because it was an heirloom of sorts. So so I'm not one of those guys that just go out and buy a fedora.
Hey, so be it. I actually want to get another Burma at some point, but that's like $100 for kangaroo leather. So what can you do? I do want to go ahead and say, Ryan.
Those damn kangaroos.
I feel like it's not Pindros's fault that I'm not good at him. I feel like it's my fault that I'm not good at Pindros. So Pindros is fine by me. I'm not very good at Pindros. It's bad.
Well, I think in general people avoid him because they don't like the the timing on him, and he's a little weird because if you kind of have to let go of the environments and just be like, oh, if they happen, they're cool, and if not, then whatever. I know I have more mobility control, so I can avoid the bad ones if I need to.
Yeah.
So, but
this is actually this question's actually a really good one. Eric Cooper Flowers wants to know. So Yomi and BattleCON are kind of the dominant non-collectible card game or card fighting games. What's your favorite thing about BattleCON that isn't in Yomi? And then, are there any aspects of Yomi that you wish you had included in BattleCON?
So first question, favorite thing about BattleCon that isn't Yomi. I think the range really makes the game work. Is that we have different ranges, and so that means that that one beat is not like the next beat, and also the rotating discard piles. So with Yomi, you always have attack, block, and throw. And in BattleCon, your options change every beat. So in Yomi, any given beat feels like any other beat, except that now you have more combo potential, or now you have more super potential, those sorts of things. Where in BattleCon, really the entire way you have to approach the problem changes in each given beat. And so I think that's what I like the best, is that the ground shifts under you because of the way that range works and because of the way the rotating discards work. That there's a different right answer every beat. As far as the second part,
I have to thoroughly agree with that. By the way, like that's exactly what I would have said. So
yeah, it's kind of I think it's and I do like Yomi. I haven't played very recently just because I'm always so busy with testing BattleCon, which is what they're out there in the office doing right now. Is actually we're testing all the new characters. But you know, the thing that they have that I like is I like the idea of combos, and I like the idea of using multiple supers in the same round of play. And so I think that after this project, we're probably not going to do a new BattleCon for a year or two. We're going to do another game, which I'm calling currently BattleCon Xseed. That's more of a that has a couple new systems. It's got the force gauge as an integrated part of it. What am I thinking? Your characters have more attacks, more styles, and they'll be able to use supers at various points within the match, and not just once at the very end. So it's something that'll integrate a lot of new systems and give us some new design space, and I'm pretty excited about that. And we've got that, like pre-balancing, everything right now. Really, it's more of concept on paper at this point. So look for that maybe in a year from us.
Cool.
So seriously, when are we gonna get to see, Team Barkeep? When is that happening? Why are you leaving it up in the air?
Still drawing them. But I can tell you that we have a playtestable version of O'Brien and Boris. They're both votable characters that'll be in the vote before it goes up. So you'll be able to get to do the Mustache Massacre as your finisher at some point before the end of the battle or before the end of the vote.
Yeah, if you haven't played the game, it's great. I love 7-Card Slugfest. Thank you for sending that for us to review, by the way.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I really enjoyed calling you guys up and chatting about it on air. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was on the college radio station for the college I go to. So, for those wondering what the heck we're talking about.
Boris
we got the breaking news first.
Yeah, the bartender from 7-Card Slugfest, and O'Brien is the villain from that. I think the coolest thing about that game is that it's like a canon story. Like Distillers is kind of like just like an aside, and Pixel Tactics is just but the story of 7-Card Slugfest is actually canon World of Indians.
Yes.
So it's officially part of the lore.
The other thing I like is that Boris is your world's version of that dude who's in every inn in Legend of Mana. The dude with the turban who's like this.
Yes, he's actually inspired by that. Yes, it's the same Boris in every bar.
Yep.
I'm incredibly happy about this.
It's another one of those games that I'd play with you guys if we ever had time whenever we hang out.
Oh, well, we'll have to catch up at Gen Con, or where are you guys out of?
We're in Texas, so
hey,
you came to PAX South.
We won't do PAX South, but we will be at QuakeCon.
Really?
Wait, ooh.
We're coming to QuakeCon next month, and then we'll be at BGG-Con in November. And if you guys haven't done BGG-Con, Board Game Geek-Con.
No, like where?
It's in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's right there at Dallas Airport.
So I'm not sure if you've just seen the most recent comment. If O'Brien makes it in, Luchador alt confirmed.
Yes.
What would be the alternate for Boris actually?
For Boris, that's a good question, and I think I'd probably leave it to Fabio to decide what I can't tell you the. Remember at
masked mustache would be great.
Yes.
That'd be the tagline.
A tiny mustache on the mask that masks a bigger mustache.
Yes. I think we can make that happen.
Also, somebody got really excited about Wanderers. Are you going to do more than one thing of Wanderers? Because I can't come up with any characters.
We'll see how many entries we get. We haven't started judging them yet. We're probably going to start looking at the end of July, about the time we finish with War, and just so that we don't have any idea contamination, if you will. Like we don't want to look at those before we publish all of our all the BattleCon characters that we're going to publish.
Yeah.
So But
also,
I had something I was going to say, and I lost my train of thought.
Ryan, to further apologize for my slander against Pendros, he is asking Brad, which comes next? Millennium Blades or Frame Wars? I do want to mention, technically, it's Willennium Blades because we are in the Willennium.
Are we in the Millennium?
It never stopped being the Willennium.
I see. Well, Millennium Blades then will come out. We're shooting for December. And hopefully, so Frame Wars. That's more Fabio's project, and so he has the status on that. And I'm not sure where it's currently at, but I think that because he's been so caught up in in doing the all work for BattleCon, that we haven't done much development on Frame Wars recently. So I think it'll probably be Millennium Blades first, and then Frame Wars after that.
And as a separate question, what's this triple triad game I'm hearing of? I'm a really bad level 99 games fan.
Oh, okay. We have a game called Cell Swords, and it's loosely inspired by Triple Triad.
Oh, cool.
But the gameplay itself is quite different. The basic mechanic of you play a card down and it attacks all the cards around it with its number values is similar. But each card has a kind of unique ability to it. So when you play them down, they all do something differently. Like one will shoot over multiple rows. One will flip everybody, but it also flips itself to your opponent's side. There's one that can't be flipped at all, or one that can target at range. All sorts of different mechanics like that. There's about 50 different heroes in that game that you can use.
Oh, wow.
And
that is really cool.
it's quite fun. You draft them off. So you draft with your opponent to get a hand of 6, and then you play 6, and then you score, and then you draft for another hand of 6, and you play those 6. But the way the scoring works is by saturation. Like in Triple Triad, you just want to black out the board and collect as many of your colors as you want. But in this, you actually want to score lines and columns. And so getting 5 guys in a row is 10 points, where having 1 guy in every row is 0 points. You really want to have lines and columns to so it makes it much more tactical.
It's like Triple Triad meets Connect 4, basically.
You should play it. We'll send you guys a copy to try out.
Okay.
But it's a great little quick table game, kind of in the vein of Noir, but a little bit heavier.
Also,
finally,
I can get a copy of Noir. It wasn't a download.
Just my last little comment on that. It kind of sounds like a combination of a card and a puzzle game, because that sounds like a lot of drop-down puzzle games.
It does sort of have that drop-down puzzle element.
Which I personally
play,
yeah, I personally like it, so I think I'll probably end up having a lot of fun with it.
So, it's pretty fun. It's quite fun, and it was neat because it was one that I didn't get involved in at all. The guys in the office and our designer completely made it. They did everything, and they did all the balancing and all the testing. And then they're like, "Oh, Brad, play this," and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is good. Print it." And then it's getting printed, and I've only played it 3 times, and they've played it 100 times. So, but everyone I have played it with, I played it more than 3 times because I took it to Origins and I played it with everybody I met. See you guys later. Sorry, people leaving from playtesting. But yeah, I played it with everybody there at Origins, and it was batting 1,000. Everyone who played it really loved it and wanted to get a copy. So, but yeah, we'll send one along when it comes out. Cell Swords, and it's actually also on pre-order in our store. And you can add it to your pledge on BattleCon for for $15. So,
dude,
nice.
You already got 135 from me. I can't spare anymore.
No. I realize that we've asked a lot for the complete.
There he is. There's the Mechanicritic. He loves you, Spell Swords.
Spell Swords.
Spell Swords.
I heart Spell Swords.
It's like the Number Munchers version of Cell Swords.
It's more magical than regular Cell Swords.
Have you had the chance to check out some other little dollar store games? Because there's Tetris the card game.
I haven't. I played Tetris the board game where you slide the pieces in, but I haven't played the card game.
The card game's weird. It basically has a whole bunch of tetrominoes on one side, and then on the other side, all of the backs are different, and they're little play screens with blanks in them. And basically, you have a hand, and your opponent has a hand, and whenever you draw a card, the top card of the draw deck is what you're playing towards. And if you can fill in a line, you score a point. Fill in 3 lines, you score 3. And it's weird, but it kind of works.
I'll have to look into that because I got the Angry Birds card game. I wasn't very impressed with that one.
I'm not as impressed as I thought I would be with the Tetris one, but they did something interesting. One
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you see with a lot of those light card games is that they have one interesting mechanic, and sometimes they realize it and it works out really well, and sometimes they don't, and it doesn't. But anywho.
Ryan, you betrayed me. How dare you say that Boris needs to stay in that PC? How dare you?
Hey, I show you guys the plushies.
Oh, hey, there he is.
Plushies.
All right, I'm just gonna have you on screen for this.
Okay.
That's adorable.
Oh yeah, these are the BattleCON plushies.
Did you knit them?
I'm not the designer or the maker of these. They're made by Jacinda at Needleforge, and she makes little like character plushies for NPCs and RPGs and stuff, or for your player characters in RPGs. And so
I want to cuddle one.
Yeah, they're pretty cute. Look at this sweet monocle on Kadath. Like, isn't that cool? Steve has a little chain. Like, oh,
that's the part that really...
How are you doing? Oh, I am doing well, Kadath. Shall we battle? That kind of thing. I think we'd have a tutorial video where these guys teach you BattleCon.
That's what really sells it for me is the little monocle, and then it's the little key, the actual key earring.
Yeah,
that really sells it for me.
Yeah, these are way cute. And she did a super job. She's actually going to make the patterns available for these after the Kickstarter, so you'll be able to make your own, or browbeat your significant other to make it for you.
Okay, so we have some question catch up.
I do prefer browbeating.
We have some question catch up we got to do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go. Oh, it was Mr. Mahdi. That's the dude from Legend of Mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mahdi, he's everywhere doing everything.
So I'm gonna go top down because we had someone who asked a bunch of questions who said skip them for a bit. So how big is the level 99 nowadays?
Alright, so there's me, Chad is our lead programmer, Chris is our project manager, Josh is our graphic designer, Mike's our warehouse manager, Sam's our publicist and events coordinator, Fabio and Noko are our two artists, and we have a contract programmer, Reagan, who works with Chad on occasion. And then, of course, we have various other artists that we hire in and out on occasion. And we have a lot of local playtesters. There's about 5 people that come to playtesting every week here in Albuquerque. So, but they're not really staff. So, like as far as staff, we have like 8 people who come to work and do level 99 games all day, every day.
Okay. So. Nice. Matt Turnbull, and I'm mentioning his name because either this is a great question or horrible question, I don't know which, is would you ever make BattleCon into a fighting game? I remember you having said no.
We're in talks, I'm interested in making it into a fighting game, but it would be a very different fighting game than most of what's on the market. I feel that like the fighting genre is really stagnant right now, and you either have to like do extremely high levels of polish, like you see in Guilty Gear and Street Fighter Ultra 4, or you have to do something extremely novel, which is like what you see in like Smash Brothers and Power Stone. And so that's where I would want to go. I would want to go on the far away from the traditional fighting game model and do something that's novel and unique. Because if you sit in the middle and you're not novel and you're not polished, you end up being one of these like DLC only type games that you see on PSN that just are just not interesting to play. Like why would I play this when I could play one of the high end games or one of the innovative games?
Well, then there you go. That's your answer, Matt. Good question.
We want to do something new and unique if we make a BattleCon video game. But we are in talks with some different studios that want to pursue it, especially after the Kickstarter. And that's one of the secondary effects of Kickstarter, which is really neat. Is like since we started the Kickstarter, other companies have kind of gotten a gauge of how popular we are, and so they've solicited us for crossovers. Like we've gotten solicitation for video game licenses to make board games for those. We've gotten solicitation for companies who want to make our board games into video games, just because they see how many fans are backing us up on Kickstarter. So it's not just about making stretch goals. It's also about bringing these games to life in a new way that coming to Kickstarter is doing for us. And so I want to say to the fans that they're supporting us in more ways than they even think.
So I'm going to go ahead and answer one of these questions. A PAX South, yes. At the latest PAX, they announced that PAX South will be in San Antonio, and it's going to start next year. You can find more information by going to google.com and doing what's called a search.
PAX South, that's the first I've heard of it too. And PAX South is something we could actually do because it's local for us. I mean, it's regional for us, not local, but regional. Whereas PAX East is way off in nowhere, and PAX West is a little too far. But East is, or South would be something we could really do.
So I do want to mention, have you heard of Dive Kick?
Yes, I love Dive Kick.
I love
Dive Kick's great.
Moving on, we have another question. Which fighting game is the biggest inspiration for BattleCon? I remember you mentioning that on episode 5.
Yeah, I think we said, or I don't know if we mentioned it, but BlazBlue was kind of the core inspiration for BattleCon, and at least for sure for the unique ability system that we had. I kind of developed the base style mechanic, and then like I was sitting playing BlazBlue and I was like, that's what I need. I need unique abilities to make this game really really stand out. So that's where that came from.
So are you saying I can play a version of Iron Tiger on your game?
You could. I mean, I've actually somebody on Board Game Geek has made a fan edition of Iron Tiger that you can download and print and play with your BattleCon set.
I'm so doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot. Actually, there's a DC Comics set where they've reskinned all of the BattleCon fighters as DC Comics characters. So you can play as Joker and Batman and Ivy and those guys too. It's nice. Pretty cool. It's pretty neat what people have done with the game, and I really enjoy seeing all the variants and and reskins that people come up with.
Also, Brad.
Well, and I think it's one of the signs of a good game is how easily it kind of transitions genres. Like, not so much in how alterable or changeable it is, but just like how easily it is for you to go, that character is kind of like this, I can maybe do something like this, because it kind of gives you that sense of like these people at least know your game well enough and like your game well enough to want to do something more or on top of it.
Yeah, it's really neat that that it's such a malleable game, and I think that's one of the best moves that we made was to put the blank cards in the first game, because even if they're not really great for that purpose, it's a signal to players that like, yeah, we want you to add on to the game yourself at home, and I think that's really one of the coolest aspects of board gaming, and that's kind of what got me into it was when I saw the blank tiles in Dominion and in Small World. That I thought, people can make their own board games, and it's pretty easy. There's not some, mystical math voodoo behind all this. You just come up with a good idea and put it on paper and play it. So, anyway, that's my take on it. So I think it's really neat to include those blanks in the game, and we'll be including them again in War. We didn't in Devastation just because the box was so full already. We were to the very edge of our print sheets, but we will have them in War again this time.
Hey, Brad, I do have a complaint, by the way, about Devastation. What was up with that horrible insert that I couldn't use? That just was like a big giant plastic thing, and I like put all the characters in the little envelopes, and I'm like, they won't go in. I eventually just had to throw it away.
The envelopes, you actually kind of have to square them with your finger, and then they fit really snugly and don't shake when you shake the box. But it's a really tight fit, and I think if we were doing it again, we would make those wells about an 1/8 inch wider, just to accommodate the character packets.
Well, one of the things that I found out about that I actually did, in fact, yeah, I'll get my box. Let me show it off.
Okay. You have a unique storage solution?
It's inspired by a solution I saw on Something Awful.
Okay.
So.
Now, Something Awful. Whenever Something Awful is referenced, I always have a moment of fear. and panic. Actually, my old roommate in college used to be a goon. They're called goons, right? That's what.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I used to be a goon, and he exposed me to some of the darker parts of Something Awful as a prank, and it was I'm scarred for life.
You went to FY80. Never go to FY80.
I mean, I don't know what it was. He was just like, "Hey, Brad, check this out." And he turned his computer around. And it was like, like Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade.
Your skin just started melting off.
Yeah,
and that little...
that exactly. All right, so what do you have? Can you click on the thing so that it always shows you on the?
Let me go ahead and turn off that thing. So one of the things that's cool about what they suggested is if you take trading card game boxes, you can actually set everybody up in rows.
Oh,
Just make
okay.
some storage. You can do stuff on the side. Like I've got all the counters for each flight here. Scenario bosses, Battle Quest.
Okay.
So yeah, this was something they suggested. I liked it.
Okay, cool.
I did it.
Well, this is probably a good juncture to go ahead and talk about our 300K stretch goal.
All right, so what is your 300K? What is it?
So the 300K stretch goal that we're going to announce probably tonight or tomorrow morning is a giant box with individual tuck boxes for each character in all sets. So it's an expansion that's basically a giant storage solution for all of your BattleCon stuff.
Are you gonna do it like the BGG weird character select screen?
Yeah,
thing?
that's kind of what we have in mind for this big box. And so that's what we're looking at for the 300K stretch goal is to make that box and to make it available to backers. So, and it's not going to be quite as big as the Ogre box, but it's a pretty big box.
Okay. So we do have a couple more questions. I'm going to say let's get through them real quick, and then we're going to get to the fanfics because it's about time.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, I forgive you for your slight. So is the plan that the Wanderers characters will be canon for Indines or no?
Yes, Wanderers characters will be canon for World of Indians, just like all of the backer created characters that we've had in the past. So they will become like one of the questions we've asked on the Wanderers submission form is how does your character fit into the World of Indians story? What character relationships do they have? That sort of thing. So all that is part of the submission process.
And I have a massive post from the Mechanicritic. That was an epic typographical error about spell swords. I just woke up. I am shocked that Brad's not rocking his hat. I want plushies too. Can I have a plushie? I'm not really good at pronouncing that name.
Hekech is Hekech, and for $100 you can have any plushie you want. That's the best. That's the best that I can offer at the moment. But I can talk more about BattleCon Online if you want. Do you guys want to hear more about BattleCon Online? It's Rocky and Sordid Fate,
Sure.
or however you pronounce it.
Go ahead and talk
all the things that have gone into it. No, it's actually coming along really well. Like we're at the point where matches are being played out, and they're still kind of text format. What they're doing today is they're hooking the UI into the engine, so that when those text commands come back, that we have a graphic representation of characters moving on the board. But just Schechter and Eligor are just about playable at this point. And yeah, our programmer Chad just walked by the window and nodded to me and gave me a thumbs up. So everything I'm telling you is in fact true. So, but yeah, we hope to have.
That's good.
Yeah, sometimes he just walks by and gives me these these death stares. But yeah, we should have it playable in about 6 weeks at this point. That's what I'm shooting for, is 6 weeks.
Ooh.
And players who are in BattleCon Online will be able to test it out. Players who are in our playtest forums will probably be able to test the really raw alpha a few weeks earlier than that. And so I don't know exactly where we are on hooking in the UI and stuff, but hopefully we'll have um, we will have Schecter and Allegor playable on our playtesting forums in a few weeks. So that's our goal. But yeah, BattleCon Online, it's going to come out. We're going to start with 10 characters. You're going to be able to play ranked matches against anybody in the world. If you want to do like player matches, then you can purchase characters to add to your collection permanently, or we'll have a rotating roster every month. So the characters that are available for ranked matches that we're going to have free play with are going to rotate every month, kind of in the League of Legends style. So you'll be able to try everybody, and if you want to use them outside of their their introduction period, then you can purchase them and add them to your account. Is that all? Is that all solid? Pretty.
That's a lot of information. That helps a lot. Give me one moment. I have to fix a couple of problems we had
with the fanfics.
Yeah, for some reason texts are not going to display. Can you actually?
You can just email it to me or share it on Google Drive with my email, and I will check it out.
I'll just share the folder with you. Give me a moment. Gotta go to Google Drive.
But I can. I'll just answer another question then while you figure that out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. I feel that Boris needs to stay not a character, so that he and Kavri share permanent NPC status.
How dare him!
I've kept shooting down Kavri as a playable fighter because she's like a dedicated healer. But she will be in Champions of Indines, which we are still working on, and which we are hoping to produce next year. The miniatures for Argent turned out really good, so our experiment with miniatures is successful, and we're going to try and do more miniatures games in the future. So for those who haven't heard, Champions of Indines is the miniatures game where you play with your friends against one player who controls like a giant boss. So it's a raid boss battle game. Is a good way to put it. So you and your friends, you build your characters, you take on this giant raid boss, and Kavri is one of the fighters that's available in that. And she's kind of the group healer battery type character, and also can do a bit of tanking with with like Barkskin and self heals and regeneration and stuff like that. Let's see.
You are apparently the master of ventriloquism.
Am I?
Yeah.
I think that's the well. You're the real. You guys are the real masters of ventriloquism because I saw your movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I showed him Snack Time with. Oh my God! What the is this? It's bizarre. I have sent you a share link for the entire folder. Did you get it?
Let me check my email here. Okay. Yes. BattleCon fanfic contest and. Yes, I need permission. Oh, because my main email is not my like level 99 games at Gmail. So you'll have to send to this. Yeah, confirm the one that I just sent you, and then I should be good to go.
Let me get there and boom. Maybe no.
So Frogman Mike 14 wants to know if you have played BattleCon Outcasts.
I have not. I have not played the game. I've looked over the characters though, so I'm familiar with the game and the characters. I have not actually played it, unfortunately. Yeah. So I know I've been neglecting to print out my own copy. So
print out your own copy.
BattleCon Outcast is a fan-made expansion. So it's a couple of new characters that have been created and balanced by the community. It's actually kind of a precursor to Wanderers, which is kind of the official fan expansion. So Outcast is sort of the unofficial fan expansion, and has some really cool character concepts and ideas in it. So they actually invented the boss mode before we did, and I asked Jesse, the guy that runs it, if we could use his multiplayer mode and his boss mode as the official game modes. So in War we actually had this really clunky multiplayer mode in the original War, and we adopted their mode of multiplayer for Devastation, and it worked out way better.
Well, that's cool.
All right, I have approved you. There is nothing holding us back. We are ready.
Here we go then.